Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be how the narcissist becomes unraveled. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, when you were in the relationship, you saw the narcissist becoming unraveled more and more. And you saw the poor behaviors that they displayed. Example, verbal abuse, mental abuse, ghosting, financial abuse that you probably didn't even know existed, triangulating. You saw them fall apart. You saw them unravel. And each and every day that you were in that relationship, the narcissist's behavior got worse. Now, remember, when you're in these relationships, they usually start off at light speed. They start off like it's the best relationship ever. But as all narcissistic relationships develop, they all begin to fall apart. And the narcissist becomes unraveled. The more familiar they are with a target or with a person that they're in the relationship with, the more that mask will slip. And the more that mask will slip when the person specifically doesn't have the education or the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle, usually the more they will stay in the relationship trying to fix the narcissist, trying to fix the relationship, trying to mend what the narcissist is doing. And these people, and at one point that was you, I'm sure it certainly was me, we were giving to a fault. Maybe we were people pleasers. Maybe we are empaths. Maybe we wanted the best for the relationship and for that relationship to grow and to be nurtured and to work on it. Well, when you're in a relationship with another person and that other person turns out to be your worst nightmare or your worst enemy, that's the narcissist, that relationship is not sustainable. That's why these relationships are a one-way ticket to Destructionsville. And that's why the narcissist breaks every relationship that they ever become a part of. And these relationships with the narcissist that are broken and smashed and crushed, they include with their own kids, with their spouses, with their romantic relationships, with their siblings, parents, anybody, colleagues, coworkers, etc. The narcissist does not like stability. They don't like commonplace. They don't like commonality. The narcissist looks at people as opportunities. They look at people as pathetic and weak and frail. And they look at your empathy as something to be used against you. That's why when the narcissist knew who you were, when they first met you, they knew really quickly who you were. You didn't even know who you were yourself back then because you probably were an open book. You were a clean canvas. You were a clean slate. You didn't know that narcissism was prevalent on the planet. You didn't know that somebody could actually lie to your face over and over and over again. You didn't know that somebody could cheat on somebody and yet tell the other person that they didn't cheat. You didn't know that somebody could create an intentional argument to disrupt your energy or blow up your weekend or blow up your birthday or vacation or holiday. You didn't know what gaslighting was when somebody has you doubt your sense of reality. You didn't know that you would be punished no matter what you did in that relationship. You could have had all the money in the world. You could have owned your own country. You could have been the president or the head of any company or organization you wanted to be. It still wouldn't be enough because the narcissist would always be diminishing you, devaluing you. And as they were doing that, they were becoming unraveled. The narcissist acts like a tyrant. They act like a ruler. They act like a dictator, if you will. And they want people subservient to them, trapped in that narcissistic fog. The narcissist does not want people to escape. They want to keep people stuck in that devaluation stage. They want to keep people thinking about the past, wondering, what if? Could I have done more? Should I have done more? What if I did this? Could I have held on longer? Maybe if I just bit my tongue a little bit more, things would have worked out well. No, we now know that that relationship was going to end one way or another because every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. You're learning that, or you have learned that. And when the narcissist became unraveled over and over and over again during that relationship, and when you were the person who was the glue that kept the family together and putting people back together and putting out fires that the narcissist was starting intentionally, your resources were getting decimated. They were taking a hit left, right, and center. And you could only sustain so much of that. That's why you only have so much to give when you're in these relationships, because eventually everything breaks. And the reason why it breaks is because, yes, the narcissist is pressing on the gas pedal of abuse. Yes, they're looking to break the relationship. Yes, they know that that relationship will break. And yes, they know that you only have a certain amount of gas in your tank, if you will, or a certain amount of resources that you can go through. That's why when you're in these relationships, everything takes a hit. Your reality, your clarity, your mind, your friendships, your hobbies, your work, your money, anything that what made you you, it was all taking a hit. And this is how they knew to discard you, or this is how they knew to insert the new supply, or this is how they knew when it was time to jettison. Because they were always testing the temperature and the pulse, not only of you, but of that relationship. And behind the scenes, or maybe even in front of the scenes, they were comparing what you provided for them with what other people either A, were providing for them, or what other people potentially could provide for them in the future. That's why the narcissist always has one foot in these relationships and one foot out the door. That's why these relationships will continue to become decimated and broken over and over and over again. And that's why the longer you're in these relationships, the more you see the mask slip, the more you see the narcissist become unraveled, the more you see your life get derailed, the more you see that it is unfixable, that nothing, and I mean nothing, was going to repair that relationship. Because again, when you have two people in a relationship and one person perhaps is an empath or a kind, loving person, and they want to grow together with another person who turns out to be toxic, maybe even narcissistic, well, that person, it is always advantage second person, i.e. narcissist. Until when? That's right, until you get the wisdom and until you apply the tools that are provided for you on the channel and in the community. And when you finally wrap your head around, yeah, you were in a toxic relationship, maybe even a narcissistic relationship, and that it never served you, but that you were manipulated and you were trapped and you were believing that you could fix it. You were believing that you could keep repairing all the damage that was being inflicted upon you and the narcissist. We now know that's not what happens. What happens is the narcissist will discard people whenever they want to, whenever people are vulnerable, whenever they're at their weakest, or they lose their job, or their health takes a hit, or they don't have money, or if they're isolated in some capacity. And when the narcissist wants to discard somebody, they're trying to twist the knife in as deep as they possibly can because they want to inflict damage. That's why these are the relationships that you need to heal from. That's why you can't just go right back out and start dating. That's why you want to stay alone in your house and isolating yourself, which is self-isolating, which is called working on yourself. That's probably what you're doing right now. It's what I did. I call that the cocoon of boundaries. And there's a big difference between somebody isolating you, which is what the narcissist did, or you self-isolating in the cocoon of boundaries. When you're in the cocoon of boundaries, you want to slow your life down. You want to process things. You want to learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle. And you want to process what happened, how you met them, what you did in that relationship, how much damage they did to you, and that you will never do it again. That's why once you finally get the message, and you get that light bulb moment, you will eventually go no contact. You will block these people. You will delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. Maybe that day isn't today. Maybe it just happened yesterday. Maybe it's going to happen tomorrow. Who knows? But when it happens, your energy will begin to return. It will sting for a little bit, but then your clarity will return. And you won't be checking your phone, and you won't be checking your emails, and the narcissist won't be able to contact you and pop up out of the blue and rear their ugly head and trying to keep you stuck and trapped in that narcissistic fog any longer. This is a great day, the day you go no contact. That's why I suggest it in virtually every video I create. Again, if today's the day you do it, great. If it's not, well, develop, create, and have a mindset of when you're going to do it. Because eventually it will change your life. It will improve your life. Having said all those things, why the narcissist becomes derailed, why they become unhinged, it's because they can't keep that mask on. They can't keep it on for any period of time. And when the narcissist has a target, example, let's say you were married to the narcissist, and say you were in the house with them for a year, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 50, who knows? Well, you were what was called built-in supply. They knew you were going nowhere. They knew that they had trapped you. They knew that you were reliant upon them, or that you were providing food, water, and shelter for them. Maybe you were working and you were providing stability for them. But the narcissist knew this. They knew that you would not go anywhere. So when you're built-in supply and you don't know what narcissism is, they're just feeding off you every waking minute, hour, day, week, year, month, decade. And eventually something breaks, something snaps, and that relationship will end. And usually it will happen at the hands of the narcissist, but not always. And so why the narcissist becomes derailed and why they come unhinged at the seams or unglued at the seams, it's because they can't keep that mask on any longer. And what once was familiar to them, which was you, when they abuse somebody as much as they did, and that person can't take it any longer, and they're not the same person they were when they entered that relationship, and maybe they were discarded, or maybe they ended it themselves, what does the narcissist have to do? They have to go find someone else to direct their life, to steer the ship. Picture, if you will, in the middle of the ocean, that you were on a boat with the narcissist, and the boat was carrying the two of you, or You were going whatever direction you were going in, but you were the sail or you were the rudder. You had direction. You were steering a course that the narcissist would assimilate themselves with you and go on that part of their journey with you. Well, eventually, when that relationship ends, and let's say you were discarded, well, what does the narcissist do, using the analogy with the boat on the ocean? Well, they puncture holes in the boat, in the bow, and they're hoping that thing's going to sink because they have the new supplies boat about to pick them up and allegedly, although not true at all, go off into the sunset and live their best life. Well, some of that's true. They want to puncture the boat that you're in. They want to jettison that boat and go on the new supplies boat and go off into the sunset. Well, they don't go off into the sunset. They go off onto another toxic relationship, maybe even with another narcissist, who knows? But your boat that is sinking, you now have to shore it up. You have to patch the holes in it. That's what healing is. You're putting yourself back together. But see the sail and the rudder analogy? That's you. You're the energy source. You're the person that can get yourself, if you haven't already, you will, get yourself back to shore in that boat that now is a boat of one. And the narcissist, what they will be doing with the new supply is they'll be puncturing that boat once they get them stuck in the trauma bond, and the cycle will continue to go over and over and over again. But now, having said that, let's imagine, if you will, that the narcissist doesn't have a new supply. Let's say that they're by themselves in a house or an apartment or a condo or wherever they are, who knows? And maybe they're working, maybe they're not, doesn't matter. Point is, they don't have someone to direct their life. Many people, i.e. the narcissist, they don't even know how to write a check. They don't know how to pay a bill. They don't even know how to go to the bank and open an account. Now you may say that's a little much, Andrew. No, it's not. It's real. Because when somebody who is belittling and abusing another person, and they have the other person doing everything for them, and then that person is not in the relationship any longer, well, good luck, narcissist. Now you're going to have to figure out how to get by on your own. And that would happen way more often than you think. Now, I hope you're following what I'm sharing with you. The narcissist becomes derailed so frequently. You just never saw it when you were in the relationship because they didn't want you to see it. They needed to keep that mask of superiority over you. So that's why they showed you that they were dominant, or showed you that they were in control, or punished you for having a voice, or punished you for saying anything, or for not doing what they wanted you to do. That is the mask. Now, was that mask real, meaning their behaviors, were they real? Absolutely, they were real. Was the mask real? Well, the mask was just a charade, a sham, but you believed it, and you were in it, and you were subservient to them. Because why? Because you weren't taught this in school. It wasn't your fault. You didn't realize that behind the mask of the narcissist is nothing but a coward and a bully, and a person who knows that there's nothing but a vast wasteland within them. And they need to capture people's beautiful, bright, shining light like yours, and use those people as an energy source, or as I mentioned earlier in the video, as a sail or as a rudder to steer them through a part of life. That's what these people do. Let's go way back in time. Well, in anthropological days, there were hunter-gatherers. That's exactly what the narcissist is. They're a hunter, a predator, if you will, and they want to have people gathering, which would be people that are enablers and flying monkeys, and people that are subservient upon them, gathering things for them, doing things for them. Now, that may not be the best example, but if you took history, you should know that hunter-gatherers, that was way back in the times, and you had two different kinds of people. The hunter went out and tried to get some prey that they could bring back into the cave or wherever it was and cook it. And the gatherers were the people that essentially were farming or growing or making or weaving, etc., things like that. But the thing is, those hunter-gatherers, they were part of a community, and everyone knew their role. If you flip it and you fast forward it, what the narcissist wants is they want to be the predator and have everybody do the gathering for them. And they want to sit high up on their perch and abuse people, manipulate people, shame people, blame people, and keep people stuck and trapped in that narcissistic fog. That's why once you get the message and you get your light bulb moments and you realize and you wrap your head around what narcissism is at its core and how it affected you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship, you need to get out of this relationship. You need to run for the hills. You need to get away from these people as far and as fast as you possibly can. Again, I will share with you, if you haven't been in the narcissistic relationship and you're watching this video to become awakened and aware and to try to wrap your head around what narcissism is at its core and how the narcissist becomes unraveled, I hope you understand that if you are trying to help somebody, maybe it's your sibling or somebody who's going through the narcissistic abusive cycle, maybe they just got discarded or maybe they're healing, that you have to be very delicate with these people, because every one of us who have healed or who are on the healing path, we will burn out the people that are closest to us that don't know what narcissism is, because they can't wrap their head around it. They can't figure it out. They can't follow it. It's like a foreign language. It's like an alien landed from space. They can't wrap their head around that. And that's not a bad thing, it's just reality. That's why this path, the healing journey, it is a very, very challenging journey. It must be done by you, for you, and to benefit you. And along the way, you will have to do many things, such as journal, meditate, see a therapist, watch videos, write, heal childhood wounds, etc. Be patient and kind with yourself and put yourself back together. That will take time. It will take a lot of time, but in your time you will heal. But along the way, if you, the person who's consuming the video that perhaps did go through the cycle, if you think that you're burning your friends and family out, try your best to pull back, because they're not going to understand most of what you're trying to explain. And many of those people, if they really care about you, they're not going to want to watch you in such a vulnerable position and trying to put yourself back together. That's a side note and a pro tip, and I really hope you understand that. Most people can't wrap their head around what narcissism is. They think that it's just a person looking at themselves in the mirror. That's not even close to what it is. It's a person who knows what they're doing, is mentally playing games with people. They're keeping people stuck and trapped, and they're using these people as walking zombies, as unpaid helpers, as walking apologies, as ATMs. And these people, unless they get strong and get the wisdom and break the cycle, they will stay there until they either A, are discarded, or B, they remove themselves. That's just the way these things go. Or C, unfortunately, people stay stuck in the fog and they stay tethered to that narcissist for the rest of their lives. And that's why you are fortunate, because you're in the community. As I'm creating this video, no matter where you are, if maybe you're getting ready to go to bed, or you're waking up, or you're on a train, a plane, an automobile, wherever you are, but you're getting the wisdom, you're keeping your cup full, or you're getting your cup full, and you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. And there is no room in your life for toxicity, specifically at the hands of a narcissist or anybody of that caliber. That's why you really need to come back and watch the videos and really, really wrap your head around what had happened to you, and that you have to be patient and kind with yourself. And while you are healing, and while you are working on yourself, the narcissist is becoming unraveled. Now, you may say, how would you know that, Andrew? What makes you say that? I'm going to tell you right now. The best thing the narcissist ever had was you. No doubt about it. And the reason I know that is because you're watching the video and you're consuming it, because you want to heal, or you are healing, and this is your life. No one's going to come save you or rescue you. You now figured that out. So that's why you're working on yourself. Number two, use the rudder analogy which I shared with you earlier, or the sail analogy. The narcissist will not find another rudder or sail even close to what you did for them. Now, by no means am I suggesting that you compare yourself with the new supply and say to yourself, wow, they have it so much better, etc. What I'm saying is, take the lifelong learning lessons from the past, apply them to present day, do not predict the future, maintain no contact, and realize that if you're out of the relationship, you should be grateful and fortunate, because you now have the opportunity and the ability to heal and to really put two and two together and wrap your head around it. And you need to know that the narcissist was unraveled in your relationship from the very minute you met them. It's just that they had that mask super glued so tightly out of their face you couldn't see it. And again, you weren't taught this in school. And then over time, as they got closer and closer to you and they figured out what made you tick, well, they became more unraveled. So now fast forwarding to the new supply, whoever they are, and whoever they are, God bless them. They better be strong people. But those people are also going to experience what you experienced, and they're going to see the unraveling of the narcissist. So the narcissist does not go off into the sunset. It's not all puppies and rainbows and unicorns and butterflies with the new supply and the narcissist. The narcissist is either administering abuse or toxicity to the new supply, or flip it. The new supply is doing it to them. Because there are only three people that the new supply could be. One, a recycled source of supply, someone who hasn't found the needle in a haystack and cracked the code on narcissism. Two, a clean slate, which is what you were most likely. Or three, a toxic person themselves. There's only three options. So it's one of those three people. But what I'm sharing with you is, when the narcissist doesn't have a rudder or a sail to steer them, and specifically when they don't have a source of supply in their life, I'm talking somebody that they're living with or someone that they're in a very close relationship with. And there are many narcissists that are like this, that not everyone has a romantic interest and not everyone lives with somebody else. I'm talking when the narcissist, in their circumstances, many narcissists live alone. Having said that, when they don't have someone to guide them or pay their bills or to abuse or to be there for them and make breakfast for them, or to shovel the snow or to rake the leaves or to take the kids to school or to buy the right peanut butter, etc. When they don't have that, they have to do things by themselves and on their own. And that's the last thing the narcissist wants to do. They're lazy, they're cowards, and they're bullies, they're shallow and they're hollow, and they're completely, completely frail. You may not think it, but at their core, they know they're the weak one. They know you're the strong one. That's why they targeted you and tried their best to keep you trapped in that narcissistic fog, so you would be the engine or the sail or the rudder to propel them from leg A to leg B of their life. It's all so simple in retrospect when you put two and two together and you understand what the narcissist does and how they do it, because these people are all the same. They use the same playbook. They all become unhinged. They all become unraveled. None of them can keep the mask on for any period of time. They're all stuck in that tiny little brain of theirs, and they all continue to fumble through life. So again, before I close the video, you may be saying, well, the new supply and the narcissist are living their best life and looks like they're crushing it. Well, number one, my hope is you don't know anything about the new supply, but if you do, I get it. Number three, eventually you shouldn't care about the new supply, and that's where you will be. At least that's my hope. Number three is, don't believe everything you see, hear, or read. We are now in the age of inaccountability, which means that many people put out fake news and many people put out fake information, and the narcissist has been doing that since time began. What do you think the smear campaign is? What do you think gaslighting is? What do you think rage fits are? What do you think the silent treatment is? They just want to keep people stuck in that loop. That's why you need to get away from the narcissist as far as you possibly can. But having said that, the new supply and the narcissist, every day that they are together, or week or month or year, one of the two of those people is experiencing toxicity. And so it's very simple when you boil it down, that the path is to get away from these people as far as you possibly can. Go no contact, block them. Realize that the narcissist is not stable. They're going to continue to become unraveled at the seams more and more and more, because the older they get, the more feeble they get, the more that they have to bank on their looks and certain things to get supply, and the more wrinkles show up on their face, etc., the less people want to spend time with them. That's just the way it works. And at their core, they know they're riddled with anxiety. They know they're riddled with abuse, meaning dishing it out. And they know that they manipulate people and they want to blow up people's lives and drive wedges between anybody and anything that matters to them. That's why the new supply is not living a fruitful life with the narcissist. Quite possibly, it's much worse than you even could imagine, because the narcissist, all they do is fine-tune their skills of manipulation, and they sharpen them up, and they look for the next new shiny object. They look for the next supply. They look for the next person to believe in the mask. And that's why the cycle goes on and on and on. And unfortunately, it will always go on as long as time exists and the planet keeps spinning around. The thing is, it will go on without you in it or anywhere near it, because now you have boundaries. Now you've gone no contact, and now you realize that you had a very close call. You are out of it, you're healing, or you have healed, and you are working towards or have arrived at that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, where you no longer care about the narcissist or anybody from that period of time. The narcissist took their best shot at you, and they failed miserably, and they know it. And guess what? They have to live in their own little brain every single minute, every waking moment, and every morning when they wake up and every night when they go to bed. And they have to realize that, yes, they are becoming unraveled at the seams. And yes, people more and more are seeing their poor behavior, and more people want nothing to do with the narcissist. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And how the narcissist becomes unraveled, if you took out a pen and paper and you just wrote the first 10 things that came to your mind, I am certain that first 10 things that came to your mind, how they became unraveled, would turn into 100. But don't put your energy there. It's not worth it. Focus on yourself. Realize that the narcissist is a sinking ship, that they manipulated you, they tricked you and trapped you, and they took advantage of you. And they never thought you would figure them out. They never thought that you would go no contact. They never thought you would see behind the mask. And they definitely never thought you would heal. But you have done all those things, or you're doing them. So the narcissist will always be a sinking ship. They'll always be sinking the ship of themselves and of anybody who is in the ship with them. As long as a new supply comes along, that's how that cycle will continue to go around and around. But my hope is you're out of the ocean now, and you're on the shore, and you are now living your best life. You're now either at the mountaintop or getting closer to it, but you're still on the healing path, headed in the same direction as myself, simply just taking different footsteps, and you're leaving the narcissist in the past. Picture, if you will, before I close the video, using the boat analogy that I shared earlier. You are or were on your boat, and you finally could see the shore, and you kept on steering yourself closer and closer to the shore, and the shore is healing, and it's abundance, and it's the doors of opportunity, the doors of possibility, and the doors of abundance. And as you're getting closer and closer, you're getting hit with waves, you're getting setbacks, you're going sideways, you're going forward. But when you look back, the narcissist is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually you get closer and closer, and the shore becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day you beat yourself on the boat, on the shore. And you get down out of the boat, you drop to your knees, you start crying, you hug the sand. You can't believe you made it out of that storm. You can't believe that your boat survived. You can't believe that you're on land, and you can't believe that you're at the mountaintop in the pinnacle of indifference. Well, that's either where you are or that's where you're headed. And when you turn around and look, all you can see is nothing but darkness and vastness, because the sun has set. The narcissist has drifted off with the new supply or without into that blackness of ocean, and they are nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen, and nowhere to be heard of, because you have gone no contact. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.